What's up, y'all? It's Coach Shea. Today we're going over closed position ball handling. So closed position would be back to the defender or shoulder to the defender. Ball, body, defender is the way you could think about it. I started working on this a lot more 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. I had always done a lot of ball handling, faced up to people, like most of us practice. And there were certain situations, especially higher pressure situations, where I found myself struggling to be as effective as I'd like to be. Probably stole some of it from Jalen Brunson.
For the Knicks. Great offensive player with the ball and a fantastic defender in Holiday. Now the switch, Brunson at free. Oh!
And saw how he's a very good athlete, but he's not a top-tier NBA athlete. With him being as effective as he was handling pressure, turning his back, I started to take a bunch of that stuff and develop some systems for teaching that sort of stuff, and I wanted to bring that to you guys today. Positions-wise, you're going to be able to use this really any position, but you're going to use it in different situations. So if you're a point guard, you're going to use it in the backcourt to get pressure under control, to create vision for yourself, and in the front court to set up a play, get to a spot on the court and be able to read action or wait for a pick and roll that's coming. If you're a forward, you might be using this to back down a smaller defender. If you play out of the post, like this is a very obvious way to play out of the post and be effective. So the first technique from a closed position is tapping the ball or pulling the ball. And so I'm going to have Adrian here to help show why you would use that. If I'm in this position, Adrian's pretty tight to me and he's reaching. I tap to kind of change the position of the ball when he reaches so that the timing is off and he doesn't have as easy job tapping an object that's always consistent and coming to the same place. The next thing will be pulling the ball. So same thing, I'm here and as he reaches, I'm pulling the ball away, always protecting with my off arm. If he gets too far, I'll probably spin and go by him. So the way you would work on those two things is in our ball handling warm-up. If you wanted to isolate those in a drill, you would just be like pound, tap, tap, pound, tap, tap. You could even do a couple pounds, tap, tap. But having control of that ball the whole time, same thing with the pull. You could pull, you could even throw them together. Pound, tap, tap, pull, tap, tap, or any combination of that, just to get your timing and control of those two types of dribbles.
Points. He has been terrific tonight for the Knicks. Great offensive player with the ball and a fantastic defender in Holiday. Now the switch, Brunson at free. Oh!
Interesting, kind of hit the rim after, I guess, he released it, and then the net as well. Hollis going at Brunson. Brunson searching an area, gets inside, stops, turns, scores. Boy, that was a big man that can hit free throws. What a luxury.
Yeah, absolutely, especially
deadly. And quickly Miami's lead grows.
Off to a good start so far here tonight. Devin Booker looking for an opening. No, Booker.
So the next technique would be a bump dribble. This is where I take ball, shoulder, hip, foot, throw it all into the defender at the same time to create a little space. A lot of times you would use this right before you try and go by somebody or have to make a pass or something to open up some space. So Adrian's up on me, and I'm going to bump him off and see, bump him off and see. And as you can see, a lot of times when I bump, I'm using that pull. My body's getting closer to Adrian. I need the ball away. So if I'm here, I can kind of be gauging his arm. But as I go in, I need the ball to be back, and I want to be controlling while all that happens at the same time.
And looking to tie it up. Nembhard takes it all the way.
Knicks trying to add to it. Brunson going to work. Turn around.
But he feels like the guys are active in it. He also gave credit to assistant coach Mike Johnson.
Take a look at Keegan Murray's arms. They are noticeably, tangibly larger than a season.
Midcourt to Cade. Cade into Brunson.
You talked about him.
20-year-old rookie. How about that?
Really?
Anthony Black and Bob Wagner.
Oh.
18.7 having a terrific year individually. And
So the next closed position technique is called angling back. You can think of it as a same hand zigzag. The best example I can give would be if I'm playing against a really athletic, fast defender and I don't want the risk of changing hands or turning my back and getting run and jump from behind. If I put it in my right hand, Adrian's guarding me, I can go forward right, and backward right, keeping the ball under protection, forward, backward, forward, backward. And I'm always keeping the ball far away from him, pulling it, using different footworks to go forward, and then pulling the ball and shuffling back to stay facing the same direction the whole way. So I'd work on that 1-on-0, just going forward and backward down the court. Eyes over my shoulder, different moves to go forward. And all of that's in our basic ball handling warm-up that we do almost every single workout.
Fred VanVleet, Hernan Gomez. Over the scorers table, here's Scotty. How about that?
Out of you too, so I'm sure they're going to be out here competing.
They were sitting
back of Christian Brown and muscled his way to that rebound. See if the Nuggets can finish.
Another closed position move is quarter spin or half spin, and they're really the same thing. It's just one of them you go a little bit further than the other. So if I was feeling a lot of pressure, I could look off or really take more time, look off. My back foot hits, the ball hits, and then keep going. So I'd work on this. It's in our ball handling warm-up with just half spin, quarter spin drill. And it'd all be timed, foot and ball together, half spin, quarter spin. My head's turning with the ball. And I'm using my hips to whip around in that circle, create some force to get out of my move.
Picked up by Walter. Brunson on the drive, pulls up, jump shot is good.
Here, had a couple years at Gonzaga. Knicks have 7 assists in this third quarter.
To Cunningham. Cade gets around Jalen, goes up.
The next closed hand move is called inside turn. This is one you do playing off of a bump. So if Adrian and I were about to hit each other on a bump, I would turn my chest in, and as he went forward, I would kind of sweep around. You work on it a lot of times out of the same hand zigzag. So if you were 1-on-0, you would be forward, backward, forward, backward. And then you really need a partner. And I'll play this game called Time the Bump sometimes, where Adrian's going to have his hand on my shoulder, and then I'm going to be kind of backing you down one at a time. And at some point, you release this space and give me a bump. And you try and turn your hips around that guy, have him go forward, almost like pulling the chair on the defender.
Watson reluctant to take inside Jokic.
Jokic going to work against Batadze. He just
George. Back to McCain.
Surprised by that.
I mean, you see the upside that he has as DeMontis.
This is Julius Randle.
His teammates trying to get Rudy to run the floor.
Randle.
We're going to go over 3 types of spin next. A same foot spin, an opposite foot spin, and a hanging spin, and the situation you would use for each. So the same foot spin, if Adrian and I are going this way together and he's trying to cut me off, I dribble on the same foot, and it's almost like I'm beating a recovery. The opposite foot spin works really well off the bump. So almost like the inside turn game, if we were about to come together here and bump, I opposite foot into the defender and then spin off of them. If you wanted to see the time the bump version of that, here you do the hand on the arm. It would be off your opposite foot.
You're going to live and die. Derek Queen all the way to the cup. Off!
And then the last one would be a hanging spin. So if I was doing my angle back and I was going this way and Adrian decided to go after the ball, a lot of times in the middle of your dribble, you'll have to turn the corner and spin. So this isn't in the ball handling warm-up, but this is a drill I've done kind of for my own warm-up, or historically people that want to work on spin or need to work on spin, you would just cycle through the spin. So I go same foot, opposite foot, Same foot, opposite foot, hang spin, same foot, opposite foot, hang spin. It's something you could take an extra dribble or two to line it up if you need to. But having all 3 spins gives you the ability to spin kind of at any moment, so you don't get caught in between dribbles, not being able to curl that ball and throw it the other side.
So to your point, JJ, about the communication with Lillard.
Talked about the series being inconsistent. This season has been inconsistent for San Antonio. What a pass!
Minute 18 left first quarter. Nice pass by Vincent for a Butler 3.
The next move is closed hesitation. This would be one, it's kind of like a half spin, but you're moving forward instead of coming to a stop. So if I'm going to the right and Adrian's a little bit more on my hip on this side, and you're just hesitating on your back foot and then dropping into an explosion. A lot of times that'll happen if there's like some bump and grind in between defenders in the half court, and you can like look a guy off like you're gonna pass it and then keep going. You can do that in a warm-up, just going down the court, look, explode off your back foot. You could even do moves into it if you wanted.
It's not just threes and dunks. In between game, or that is
Beautiful out of bounds play.
Thomas reverse.
They play a lot of zone with ball in the game.
Yeah.
As soon as he came in the game, they went to it. And now you see.
The next move is hezi twist. This is hesitating the other way. So you're going from closed, and Adrian's up on me. A lot of times this helps if somebody's on your back hip slightly, and they're aggressive, and you can get this hand right here, because as I turn, I can turn to open and explode from that closed position, put a lot of weight on that foot. And again, I would do it 1-on-0, just moving down the court. Maybe from the angled back down position, using that off arm to swipe every time, hanging on that back foot as long as I can before I explode forward.
Gets Brian Russell with a quick crossover. Look at Brian Russell slips, and Michael.
Number 6. Jordan. Open. Chicago.
The last move. It's the Montrezl Harrell, Steve Nash. Funny, they had the same move, the hip swivel. So if you're really backing someone down in a pick and roll and you just set up, you're going to hit, switch your feet, and go. You can do this out of the post as well. If I was backing him down in the post, switch my feet and go. And a lot of times we do that out of the angle back down in a 1-on-0 setting where we're back, switch, back, off arm come and switch. We use the angle back down for a lot of these moves. Setting them up, being comfortable with your back to the defender, seeing over your shoulder, and keeping that ball in one hand.
Yeah, he was open. Yep. There's Mr.
Montrezl Harrell.
Concentration plays a factor in the Phoenix Suns.
Nash creating inside, clears and hits.
With Eddie Johnson, I'm Gary Bender, and we welcome the viewers from NBA TV. Glad to have you with us.
Yeah, so the way that we usually work through this to get better at the closed ball handling stuff is throwing a lot of these moves into our warm-up. We have the full ball handling warm-up that has setups for you to autonomously throw some of these moves into. If you wanted to add a line ball handling drill with a specific ball handling skill, you could do that. I usually start, we have the over and backs. That's going to get your pulling. You have the pound tap taps. Anytime you're doing your angled back down or one hand zigzag, you can be throwing all these moves into your angled back down, and that really helps with your recall, pulling them out as things are happening. And then the next level of adding these moves is bringing Adrian back and doing some 1-on-0 freestyle back down. We have this in the ball handling warm-up as well. So Adrian's job would be to get chest stops and poke the ball out, be really aggressive, because I want to be good with people tight, and I want to keep myself in a narrow area. So, you ready? Let's do it. Working on my bump, trying to get a feel, hey, for where his body is. Hey. The next level of this would be to constrain myself side to side. So we have these blue lines right here and the lane line down there. I'm going to make sure I don't go inside of those. And if I beat Adrian, I'm going to cut him off, dribble hold, let him back in front. Ready? Hey. So now I've worked on a few different moves. I've controlled the ball in a smaller space. I want to work on being able to get downhill and score with these things, whether that's out of a post up or coming off a pick and roll. So I would move into something live. Maybe we go to the side of the court. We're going to play volleyball line to the baseline. I got 6 seconds to score, and all I got to change hands is a spin. So everything's got to be a closed hand or a same hand move. Ready? Hey. Oh. That would be how we progress this, to get it into somebody's game so that they're comfortable using these things. And then hopefully you have some pick and roll games and some other games where these are applicable. And you can tell players or tell yourself, oh, I need to close my body off and use these skills.